Thank you all first for listening to what we have to say. We don't think that we know much of anything. Really, we're blessed to have great athletes around us. And we kind of try to do the best we can with the guys that we've got in front of us. I'd like to thank the Eastern North Carolina coaches, the association that are having us come. And we'll try not to bore you as much with the passing game. You notice everybody's a run guy. They're all gone now. So we're going to talk some quick passing stuff. And then if we have time, if my offensive coordinator can get through all that, I'll talk a little bit about inside zone and power, how we block those things, and how we take advantage of people's alignments. This past season, we were 12-3. Lost a couple games, close games during the year. And then I think it was the 27-20 state championship. Some bonehead head coach made a 4th and short call that got stuffed on their own 30-some yard line. So, he's a dumbass and should be fired. We're 61% completion rate with what we do in our quick game. We averaged 270 yards per game passing. We threw for 56 touchdowns, 10 interceptions this year. I think we gave up 8 sacks throughout the year as well, offensive line-wise. Our quarterback had a 125 quarterback rating, who was our backup quarterback until we played Havelock, where our starting quarterback got hurt in a drill on Thursday, on pregame drill. We ain't even practicing hard. He blows his ACL out, and we have to start our backup quarterback for the rest of the year. He did a pretty good job, though. We scored 740 points this year. That was the highest in North Carolina. And a lot of our athletes and a lot of it is our guys are very knowledgeable of our offense to the point where it's almost annoying that they know what they're doing so much, because they'll come and try to make adjustments during the game, during plays, and a lot of times we have to yell at them to just run what we call, because they're always trying to check out of something. My offense coordinator, Justin Allred, he started with me since I became the head football coach at Rose. Started out calling the offense for our JV. This was his first year calling the varsity offense. Obviously did pretty well. The guy before him, DJ Williams, was my roommate in college. We kind of put all this stuff in place when he was here. And then Justin and I kind of tweaked a lot of the stuff, added a lot more motion and some window dressing that kind of helped out what we do. And he's done a good job. I always tease him a lot about, I gave him a Cadillac, keys to a Cadillac, don't wreck it. And I think he did a good job. He kind of turned our Cadillac into a Bentley. And he's doing a good job with what we're doing. So Justin Allred's going to talk through the quick game. And then hopefully if there's time, I'll come back and talk some run game.
Appreciate it. I'm just going to take you through, I've got a couple of our basic one-step drop passing plays. We'll start there, and hopefully I can get through it. I got some clips after each play, kind of show you us running it. Hopefully we're successful. After an entire season going back and looking at what we actually did well and had a good quality rep each time, there's always somebody messing up. I'm sure you've seen that. A quick breakdown. When we start with our basic alignment, we want the number 2 receiver out of a twin set to be on top of the hash. He can adjust from there, but he's going to start on top of the hash. Number 1 outside, we want him to start inside the number, so toward midfield of the number.
And we talk to the guys about being on top of the number, and we don't teach the brightest guys in the world now. And we say on top of the number, they're in the middle, and we want you on the top half of the number. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have to kind of go in and stand in places and all that. I know you guys don't have any of those problems, that your guys don't understand what you're talking about sometimes.
Most often for us, we'll put the deeper route on the ball. We'll assume that he's got further to go. We'll put him up, give him an extra step. The key to what we do is spacing. If we can't put the read defender in a bind with space, then we won't be successful. We're going to adjust that each week based on the coverage look from your opponent. If the outside linebackers are widen out and play head up over the slots, we'll adjust our routes. If they're going to apex, we'll adjust the route. Just different things, safeties, etc. We work a simple release where we always have our inside foot up to the ball. We're going to foot fire, stick. We have a 6-inch stick step. We'll club, rip through, and then stack the defender. If you don't get back on top, then there's no sense in beating the guy. Get back on top, put him on your back hip so that you're technically open right then. We do a lot more. We work the release from day one. That's, as soon as we stance and start, we go straight into releases. We'll work a release Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and hopefully it's good by Thursday before a game. So if a team plays tight press, we'll work this. If not, we'll work on stemming, playing off coverage, or even going to safeties, working them to influence their hips so we can break and turn and have an advantage. In our quick passing game, we use a lot as far as pre-snap reads. Most coverages in Eastern North Carolina, you're going to see cover 1, cover 3, some cover 2, 2-man under. That's about what we plan for. So in a pre-snap system, we'll look at the outside linebackers, see if they're head up or anything like that, if they're apex. Well, then we'll look at the corner. The corner will usually sell the coverage. If you look at the corner and he's tight pressed, head up leverage, it's probably 2-man under or 1. He might be a little off. That gives you another signal. If he's off at 6+, giving cushion, odds are around here he's going to cover 3. You can see that on film too. We do everything in a one-step drop, supposedly. I'm going to show you some clips, and there's not very many one-step drops that actually occurred. My starter that I started the season with was very good at one-step dropping. Rock and throw, get the ball out. But the backup, he tends to move a little bit more than I want him to. We will offer a 3-step drop based on a pre-snap read. If he sees something, he knows he wants to take the deeper option in our quick game, then he'll go ahead, take a deeper set, give the line a little more room, create a pocket. We have different types of reads. We'll read high-low, in and out. However we design the play, we'll go over that. Each one's about different. The first one we'll get to is we call it a sneak concept. The one receivers on each side are running what we call a sneak. They're going to start off the line, come completely flat, build up to 5. Against zone, they want to sit in this green grass area, right in here, usually just inside of where the number 2 receiver leaves on his stem. He wants to sit just inside the stem of the corner. If it's man, and this corner chases him, he sees everybody bailing, he's going to run and keep going up the middle of the field. They're going to run straight up the middle of the field like that. Hopefully he gets the ball quicker than that. We'll read the corner route, this inside corner route. That's the first read. We'll read that pre-snap. I don't know what idiot worked on huddle with this, but this should be a linebacker. It's probably when you get a favorable alignment from that linebacker over the corner and one high safety, we'll tell our quarterback, okay, one high, we'll read the corner first. That's probably where we can go with the ball, or you can read, and we'll go sneak to bubble. We always want to put the back to the read side. Typically it gives us 3 options instead of 2. And see where your check down is. Some of our reads, you can vary them based on what you see. You can create different things, but we want to read the corner pre-snap, and then we say sneak to bubble. Sneak to bubble. You'll hear a lot of things to bubble in here. But yeah, we got some clips here. I'll show you.
And a lot of the pre-snap reads, we're actually probably going to move to just making that a read post-snap now, because I think that our timing on a lot of the sneak routes, because it's not like really getting there, because we are pre-snap reading that corner, and he's going right to the sneak now and not giving enough time to get to the spot to settle on. So we're looking at, going to a post-snap read on the corner, so it's going to be corner, sneak, bubble, so it times up a little bit better. And that's how you want to kind of mess with it and all that. We've mixed it up a lot of times, and the biggest thing is going to that side with the bubble, so you can draw your outside linebacker out and play the bubble and throw that sneak. Once he vacates that area, take advantage of that outside backer getting the hell out of that web.
You'll see it in the second clip here. When the linebacker over pursues the bubble, the sneak, he doesn't even really have to settle and get him on the move. Later in the year, we actually did start announcing that read of corner after the snap. In a pre-practice drill, we work their footwork, get the receivers running back and forth a little bit, getting some techniques, some off-the-ball moves and stuff. we started announcing the corner as an initial read in the play, and I think that's what we're going to do with it next year. Here we've got a trip set. You can see the sneak come underneath here. But one interesting note about a trip set is it's just like having the back to that side of the field. We'll have all three of our combinations. Being multiple, you have to be able to run things out of each formation. I think every team that's talked here today has been multiple as best they can. So we'll put the back on the one receiver side. We'll lead trips to the field. We'll get the corner from the inside receiver, a sneak, and then a bubble. We have to maintain, that's the rule. Anytime there's a passing play, the spacing is the same no matter what the play is. So if a kid gets to the line, he's playing the inside slot, and he can't remember his route. As long as he knows the play, he knows what space he should fill.
Coach, if you get a bail out of the corner, that's your read. What are you telling your kid? Where's he probably going?
The biggest read on this is the outside back.
Okay.
Right here with this specific play, we can kind of tell he's a cover 3 corner. So in that case, we will kind of look off throwing our corner route because he should be in that space. Should be in that space. So then we'll key to this outside linebacker and see what, if he chases the bubble, we'll throw the sneak. If he stays and plays the sneak, we'll throw the bubble. He can't be right.
And a lot of times our quarterback doesn't like to throw the damn bubble because he throws it to Mr. Clemson and he's going to make the damn catch. And
Do you blame?
no.
You'll see that young man here.
The other thing is when the running back is towards the play side, if we're in just ace and the running back's towards the play side, the running back's got to announce that he's a free releaser to our line so we can protect it a certain way. Now, if he's away from trips, then he has a check bubble, so we protect it a little differently that way.
See, we'll go back here in ace. On this play, our sneak concept, he's a free bubble. He's free release now because he's part of the read, the key read here on this linebacker. We want to see if that linebacker, a lot of times we'll even motion him out. We'll go ahead and just bubble him out before the play. Go ahead and see what that linebacker does so we know a little earlier. You'll see here on a trip set, this is the concept we just talked about. The backer thinks about the bubble, so we go ahead and throw the sneak. Sometimes it's a home run. It's usually at least 7 to 8 yards. My first year at Rose, we ran this route, and it was a completely flat. You can bring it flat down 0 yards, straight to the thing, sit down, still get a read on that linebacker.
This is the trips again, so you're getting a bubble from number 3.
That linebacker chases the bubble. We'll go ahead and throw the sneak now. Good 15-yard play. Ideally, we want him to have time to come in and settle. That's what we talked about, adding in the corner to be in a post-snap read instead of pre-snap. Just give a little more time for that sneak to come in and settle. The next combination, probably my favorite combination of this offense, is our hitch seam concept. We'll read this hitch seam, used to be check down. We'll read it hitch seam angle. By check angle, that means he's checked into pass protection. He's given the line a call, and based on the opponent, what we're doing up front, he's in charge of dual reading a linebacker or fanning, sliding out to the end. The hitch on this should take a step in. You know, we talked about being lined up on top of the numbers and on the hash. The hitch, anytime you have a hitch route in offense, you want to take a step in, no matter where you were lined up originally. If you have the seam from number 2, you want to make sure that he is just outside the hash, about 1.5 yards outside the hash, because we're going to work up the hash, but at the same time, we want to set that defender up, see if he'll widen with us. There is an adjustment for 2 high safeties. We will bend those seams if we have to. Just different things like that. You'll see right here, and like we talked about, you know, a lot of times you see these guys that you want to put in a perfect play and there never really is one. This is a perfect route. The rest of it's dealer's choice.
He's going to release
We're gonna
Watch
release
number
set
two
this
at the
guy up
bottom.
outside and
Good
sets it.
release, stacks it on the hash.
You get a really good angle of it here coming up. To see him set this outside linebacker up just makes him hesitate for a second. He doesn't have much help. He should have help over top, but he doesn't make a quick read. Against one high, we will even sometimes read the safeties pre-snap and know we want to go there, preferably with the ball as soon as we get it in our hands. See him open. That's a younger guy who didn't quite understand to run up the hash. There's another instance where the slot down here to the near side runs a pretty good route straight up the seam. Big plays. You know, we never show the bad ones.
Pre-snap, we're looking at the corners to see their alignment. You know, obviously they're up pressed. We're gonna probably try to take a seam. If they're playing off, we'll take the hitch, even though they don't like throwing the damn hitch. We want to try to take the hitch.
This kid later in the year, as it got colder and it got harder to fit the ball, the DBs got faster, he started taking the hitch, especially if they give him that 6-yard cushion pre-snap. Then he realized, okay, it's time to go to the hitch. Had some success with it. This is another good one. This is our stick concept. The reason it's a stick concept, I'm sure there's a fancy term for it, but we call that a stick route. I can call that in about 18 different ways, but that's just our stick concept. We're going to read the go. It's our first read. Technically, we like it pre-snap. So if we're in press man coverage and you've got a 6'1" wide receiver going to Clemson, if you want to play press coverage and not give any help, guess where we're going with the football. Other than that, we'll put that same linebacker in his read situation like we did in the first play, in the sneak concept. If he's going to stay and play the stick, we'll throw the bubble. If he chases out to the bubble, we'll play the stick. Sometimes you get some tight windows on this. You have to fit the ball in, but if this guy comes in straight at 5 yards from just outside the hash, runs straight in and sits at 5 yards as quick as he can, we put the ball on him, he's got about a 15 to 20 yard gain. You'll see that coming up. We worked the bubble a lot earlier in the year. My starter, who we started the year with, was a good job of throwing the bubble all the time. And we really hurt some teams early with the bubble. And I recommend the bubble for most people.
And a lot of what this is that you got guys that blitz a lot, blitz the outside backers quite a bit. You know, it can eliminate that. You're just replacing them where they blitz from. And, you know, it's just a little short, little throw, a tight turn after they catch it so they can avoid a huge hit from the middle backer. And sometimes they can break that arm tackle and be gone. But you get a team that likes to blitz those outside backers a lot. You know, you throw that little stick on him and he sits right where that guy just came from. It's like stealing money sometimes.
And just like in the sneak concept, we would put the F in motion. Go ahead and bubble him out. That was one of our best plays this year, was to be able to put him in motion, go ahead and get a read on that linebacker. You'll see the slot to us. See, we motion the back out, the backer went with him. We'll throw the stick now. Go ahead and get upfield. We can do this on the goal line. Anytime really we would come to this and have success with it, it was a confidence play for us. Motion the back out and read that defender. He didn't really go, so we went ahead and threw that. Playmakers make plays in space. Get that guy out there, give him the ball. We got a couple more versions of this. You'll see the linebacker vacates. Throw the stick right in the middle of the field. If he wasn't such a pansy, he would run straight up the field, probably score there.
You know, they're quick, easy throws to make. It will get your kid confidence early, and you can start building off of that. Then you start throwing this crap right here.
You see that whenever they show press man, He's got help over the top, but I trust Cornell in that situation to go make a play. I'd like this ball to not have quite so much air underneath it, but I'm not going to take 6 points off the board. Another thing probably important to note, like here in this situation, he's a little too far below the number. When we run a go, 9 times out of 10 it's a mandatory outside release. We want him to release outside, pull the corner or anybody with him outside so we can hit that underneath stuff. When we do that and he stacks, his job is to get back above the number. Because the quarterback should own everything from the top of the number to the sideline to throw into. We want to be able to press inside, fade out, and catch the ball. That's our goal. So if those goes on any of these plays, if there's a go, think that they're trying to get outside. This play is another good one for us. A lot of times we'll roll the pocket and do this, kind of eliminate the one-step drop. We'll just kind of get outside. And you got a 5 out from the number 2 receivers, and mandatory outside release goes. The only rule we have with the mandatory outside release is if he's playing more than half your body outside, take what he's giving you and beat him with speed. If he's played up head on, you got to make a move. You got to work your release. If he's really inside, then just go. Don't even worry about stick, club, rip. Just get up the field. We'll read the go. Same thing, press man. We want to throw the go. If we're seeing kind of a cover 2 look with 2 high safeties, we know that we kind of want to take the go because that corner should squat and take away our 5 out. If all else fails, we'll come back to the check angle. He's checked in pass pro. We had a really small kid down here in the near slot, really good at running this route. I think he's in every clip of this play. Tough as nails little kid. Real quick, 1 step, get the ball out. Plenty of room to run. It was a good mandatory outside release. He took the corner with him. We didn't do a good job on the release with the go, but we still had the 5 out quickly. If he'd have held it a little longer, we probably would have been in trouble, but you got to get the ball out fast. That's the key to this. Yeah, that was also his first start of the year. Not an easy one either. So I think we got one more coming up. Yep. Here we'll throw the deep ball. Get a little tighter coverage. We've read it pre-snap. We know where we want to go with it. His help bites on the out because we threw it earlier. Makes me look like I know what I'm doing a lot of times.
So your fat ass right guard doesn't fan out how he's supposed to. The quarterback gets hit in the face. It's always a right guard.
This is another good one, and we talked about with the stick concept that if the guys are bringing a lot of outside pressure, if they're going to bring that, he can get up and turn outside real fast, usually wide open when he catches the football. Out of trips, we'll bring the number 2 receiver to the trip side. He'll come on a slant, and we'll kind of rub that. It's a natural rub. We'll bring the 5 out from the inside. We want to keep the rules as simple as possible. We don't want a whole lot of our route tree is not huge, and hopefully it never will be. We want it to be simple so they can play fast with it. Another thing that you'll probably notice whenever we get to this one, if you haven't picked up on the theme yet, everything is mirrored. Both sides of the field are mirrored out of a twin set. And the reason that is because we don't teach a route tree system where you're numbering things down. We'll have a number that corresponds with a route combination. So you can mirror it like that and call 1 number. You can call 2 numbers and have the left do something different than the right or vice versa. But everything's mirrored for simplicity's sake. It's the same read no matter what side the back is on. So the quarterback can put the back to the side where he either has the right matchup. If it's a coverage and we've got one combination dialed up for one one combination for one coverage and then they're showing something else, he can check and go to the other side, move the back. We try to mirror as much as possible though for just keeping it simple, stupid. Right here we got double slants, inside guy. they're both widened. Each player should take, I tell them 2 steps out for a slant. Take 2 steps out. Inside guy's gonna run a 1-step slant, put his foot in the ground and come across. The outside guy's at a 5-yard, tell them 4.5 to 5, don't go over 5. If you get over 5, it throws the timing off. So.
Which should be able to clear 3 steps, you should be able to get 5 yards.
A 3-step slant, yeah. You can bubble. Later in the year, when we quit throwing the bubble as much, we would call it shoot. Just have the running back attack the outside shoulder of the tackle and shoot straight out to the sideline. As long as the spacing is the same, the routes can be adjusted. First game of the year, this is the kid that tore his ACL. Made hay on this play in this game. Whoops. Just a simple 1-step slant. It's a tight window, but if you can hit it, there's not much over the top that can stop it. Just quick, on-time rhythm plays. When they get in a rhythm with this, it's as good as a screen or a run. It's as safe. You can go ahead and go with it. I didn't run this play a ton throughout the year, but when we did early, we had a lot of success with it. Couldn't find many clips of it later on. You'll see how tight these windows get here. The linebacker's running over to it. And it can, if the guy scoots in at all and he gets close to the box, you try to throw him that 1-step slant, it's going to get in trouble. You're going to have to tell him, make sure he slides out. Anytime with a slant, I think you should slide out. We adjust our routes based on the way they break. If they break over the field, we'll slide out. If they break outside, we'll cheat in. And give them a chance for success. We threw the one out there out of trips and got pretty lucky. As long as the spacing is maintained, you should be fine. Right there, he recognized blitz. He checked that. Going to the other side, he wanted to run a go. It's like Coach Will said earlier, sometimes these kids, they know so much about it, they've been doing it so long, they'll check themselves into problems because they feel comfortable with it. They'll call their own route sometimes, try to dial their own number up and put themselves in bad situations. Luckily, my slot recognized that the blitz was coming and alerted his quarterback, and they made that work. Like I said, spacing and alignment, that's key. Cheat a little bit. Scoot out, scoot in, adjust where you need to, but always remember that if you can't keep track of where you should be, top of the numbers in the hash, you usually won't get yelled at for being in one of those 2 places. The ball must be delivered as quick as possible, especially on those reads where you're reading one linebacker. There's so many people in that little bit of space. We want to get the ball out now. We want to read as much as we can before the defense, before we snap the ball, and get a good idea of where they're going to be. Sometimes they'll tell us most of that, but for the quick game, that's basically it. If you don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and give it back to Coach Will. He wants to go over some zone and power.
Coach, we all run the quick game out of trips, not in. The third receiver, do you tag his route or is
He almost acts like he's that running back that size. And most of the time he's a bubble or he got that quick out or the other position we want to take in the route. He usually has that route.
The way I teach him,
the other side, he'll check release.
The way I teach him is, okay, if we've got a corner here, a sneak here, and a bubble from the F. The only thing that changes, if he's the H, he understands this. He's seen this play drawn on the board for him. So he understands that I got to have a corner, I got to have a sneak. So obviously, if he's here, he's got the bubble.
How about if you were going to run your go out route, your 9 and your quick out?
That's the only one that he doesn't have a common sense adjustment where he, and even then he kind of does with the spacing. In ace, in our twin set, we have this 5 out here and a go, and the back would have an angle. So we're trying to put somebody in the middle of the field. We're vacating, trying to run to the sideline. We're going to take advantage of wherever they left. So we'll leave the Y inside. The Y has to understand here, he's got to get in the middle of the field. And the H, okay, I've got the middle of the field covered, I gotta go. The last thing I have to have is a 5-out, and we'll run that, we'll kind of rub it a little bit.
And at any time, our quarterbacks can signal a different route.
From the sideline, we can signal a route. If a kid goes, hey, check, I don't know, and I can go ahead and give him a signal for whatever route he actually has. Kind of takes their thinking out of it. Slows us down some, but later in the year, after running it enough, routes on air throughout the week, they tend to get these little adjustments like that. Anybody else? All right.
We kind of hang our hat on 2 big runs. How we do the inside zone and power, and everybody runs it pretty much almost the same. We kind of block things a little differently up front than a lot of people do, and our aiming points are a little different. Our running backs, the things that we do, we'll talk about alignment of the play for them. If it's an inside zone, we cheat our alignments, and in our power, we cheat our alignment. If we're running stretch or jet, we're going to cheat our alignments a little differently. Then we'll always talk about the aiming point of the bag, and then we'll go into their pre-snap read. On zone, we're going to pre-snap read. If I'm running zone to the right, inside zone to the right, I'm going to pre-snap read backside tackle, or backside 3 technique, backside 2-eye, whatever they got. And then I'll let them know their cuts that they're allowed to take. Because running backs think they're going to do all that shit and make plays and all that. Then we go through the quarterbacks. They need to identify the read player at all times, the steps that they'll take in the zone, and then we'll go over their read. Offensive line, we don't do rules. A lot of teams will, you got number 2 to whatever freaking side, all that kind of stuff. We identify fronts. So when we come up, we'll identify if it's an even front, an odd front, is it an even stack, is it an odd stack. We identify those, and that's my center. My center is probably my smartest guy I got on the field. He also calls a cadence. If some of y'all don't ever do that, it's pretty good. You get him a quick jump on everybody. So we'll identify the box, he'll do that, then we always identify the read player. So if we're running right zone, it's going to be the last man on the line backside, or if there's a little screwy game they like to play, we'll set, hey, we're going to read this guy this week. Don't worry about the DN. We're going to read that backer because he likes to cheat in. And then you got to kind of know your quarterback as an O-lineman. Our quarterback will not pull the damn ball because he's slow and he doesn't want to get hit because he's pretty. All right, so we will adjust some things off of that because we know exactly why he's not going to do those things. And then we'll talk about our first steps and our double teams in the zone. So when we go through the different fronts and all that, we see our defense runs an odd stack. So we see that all the time. Last year we ran just an odd front, and then this year they've gone to some 4-2 stuff, and you can see the different fronts we go. So the first thing we'll do offensive line-wise, we'll identify the front. And then from there, we'll identify our read player that we'll have, and then we'll go through our first steps. And we teach a basic, a side zone step. So if I'm going right zone, I'm just taking a side lateral step to get placement of my blocking position. After we know exactly our steps that we're going to take, now we're going to determine our stacks of our double teams. I'm double teaming at all times on our zone because I'm going to get push. If I can get a 1 to 2 yard push, I'm going to gain 2-3 yards. I think one time we got the zone stuffed for a loss of yards. There isn't too many times our zone didn't go for at least a yard or 2 yards. So we'll go through all that. The biggest thing that makes our zone go is our alignment of our back and then his aiming point and path that he'll take. So our back's alignment, if our quarterback is lining up 5 yards off of the center, our running back, you'll see it in film, our running back will be about a yard behind our quarterback. So when we open up, so our quarterback opens up to read, we're coming downhill. Now, we're not going sideways. We're coming downhill. It's more of a powerful run than what most people do. And the next thing is teaching our running backs their reads. If we're playing an even front, the first thing our running back's going to do, he's going to peep this backside tackle. If he's in a 3 technique I'm going to let him know, look, we're probably going to overtake this guy, and we're going to work the back. So your hole is most likely just going to stay true up in the middle because we're going to have a good angle to push him out. We're going to hook that, and it should hit right up inside. Now, if his read is a 2-eye, or he's inside the center, when I look at it, now most likely it's going to cut slightly back. And I hate to say cut back to our guys because they think cutting back is all the way freaking back out the back door. Where mostly this is going to get washed by. We're going to seal that linebacker and it's going to be almost a straight up the field shot. So that's been the hardest thing. Once those backs realize what you're trying to do with that read, they can start to understand, you know, the blocking scheme up front. And the other thing is the aiming point, they're going to aim for our center's play side ass cheek. So as he's attacking that, you know, all that stuff's moving, he's going to stay right at that butt cheek to make his read and to make his cuts. Any questions on any of that? It's hard to find damn clips that they do everything right too. So a good push off the line of scrimmage. We watched everything kind of by, and he just stayed straight up the hash. You'll watch, it'll be almost up the hash here. It's a good 4 or 5 yards on the first clip. Add some motion out of it, pick the jet, still running the zone. We get good displacement at the point of attack. We're going to double up. That's our damn 8th string running back right there. He's terrible. Just a good push from our backside guard and our backside tackle here. See right there, quarterback should have kept the damn ball right there. I mean, good God. He's not going to do it though. It ain't going to happen. But we'll have a good doubles there, working up. Should have kept the ball. Now if we get a front, they go like a bear front or something like that down in the goal line, we'll just straight up zone it. We'll just say solid, and everybody will stay man on man and zone it up, and we'll read that the last man on the line. This is a basic 3-4. We got to the point in the 3-4 knowing that a quarterback wouldn't pull the ball, where we would stay on backside, and he would read the outside linebacker, and we'd throw off that outside backer. Okay, everybody's cheated up right now. The guys have got to understand, look, my stack is this D lineman to that linebacker cheats up. Now I'm already automatically onto my backer. It already unraveled itself. So when we practice our double teams, you know, I'll put a guy on, you know, different locations and shoulders, and I'll put a linebacker up there, and we'll slant, move all over the place, and bring backers, and we'll adjust to the different slants and the different movement of the defense when we're practicing these things. Conley was a little different. They played their outside backers outside a little bit in the game, so had to adjust a little bit about what we were doing. Of course, number 12 will make you look good sometimes. Power is our other major run that we'll go to, other than our jets. You know, we'll jet and get outside and all that kind of stuff. The alignments of the running backs, again, he's going to be behind the quarterback about a yard, and he's going to split the guard and the tackle's alignment, so he'll be in that gap between guard and tackle. And we've had to adjust those things depending on the speed of your back, Our back the year before was a little faster, so we had him, you know, right behind our tackle. So we kind of had to mess around with timing and the mesh point and all those things. Aiming point on this is going to be, it's going to change because they'll get some calls. We'll pull some different guys, judging by what alignment they're in. Like if it's a 3 technique, we'll pull our tackle instead of our guard. If they're a 2-eye or in an odd front, you know, we'll pull our guard on our power. Pre-snap read, running back really doesn't have a big pre-snap read. He's just going to listen to the line's calls to tell him if he's going to stay true with a guard pulling or if a tackle's going to pull for the play. So he's going to have to know a little bit different of where things are going to end up. Quarterback, obviously he's going to identify his read because every run play that we have, he's always reading backside. Trap, counter, power, zone, jet, everything's got to read backside. And his steps that he'll use, just an open zone step, open zone hinge that he uses. And then his read, obviously if he comes flat down the line to play the running back, he's got the pull read. But again, he's not going to do that, so we added little passes off of it for him because he's not going to pull it to run. Our offensive line, again, we're going to identify the box first. Is it odd stag? Do I have a 3 technique to the play side? Is he a 2-eye? So we're going to identify all those things, pre-snap. Then we're going to identify the read player. There's always going to be the last man on the end of the line. Identify the puller. Is it going to be a guard pulling or a tackle pulling that play? And that's just going to be one code word for the play. And all it's going to be is a U call. So if we're running a power and I'm the guard and I have a 3 technique and I'm supposed to pull, I'm going to look at my buddy, to my tackle, and say you. And now he's pulling. It's tough shit now. It's hard to figure that stuff out now. So we'll identify the puller, and then we're gonna skip pull, power pull, whatever you want to call it, square pull, however you want to call it, and any way you want to teach it. A lot of guys teach it the back crossover, then open. I'm big on, we use a bucket step for our stretch plays. We'll bucket step, cross, and then get upfield. So I just use the steps that we use all the time instead of teaching a whole different step that they don't use. So when we do, I call it bird dog, or our first steps. So we'll go through all of our steps, drive steps, down step, zone steps, bucket steps, and we'll go through all those things every Monday, and it's quick. It'll be an example of it. I'll say drive step, down, so hit, zone step, down, so hit, and they're just taking a step, getting back, taking a step, getting back, and we'll work those first steps, for a good 5 to 10 minutes. Then we'll work 2 steps, then we'll work 3 steps, and then finishing the drill. On the power, you can see the alignment again at the back, guard behind the quarterback, splitting the guard and the tackle. We got the stack, odd stack, the odd, and we got the even front up here. Now, the difference is, if we're running this play the other direction, I'm going to make a U call to stay on, and my other guard is going to pull. And I just don't like pulling and leaving that guy unblocked, that 3 technique unblocked, to come hit my running back right in his damn face. So that's the difference with that. What we ended up doing later in the year is leaving, if we just got a regular odd front, leaving him on, we double the backside center and guard, we double the backside backer and pull up to that front side backer. Normally we would just release up to linebacker with the backside tackle and read that. But knowing who our quarterback was, we kind of adjusted off of those things. And what helps us out, being the ability to throw the ball in the run game, helps us out so much, because if you get those outside backers like to cheat in and try to play, we just give little signals to our receivers that we're just going to take that throw right now. We'll just give them little dollar signs for this little easy money throw. We'll just flip it out there and make you chase our little fast guys around a little bit. So this is just some examples of the power. You can see how far the back is behind the quarterback. So we want to be downhill in an aggressive manner. Everybody thinks spread here, it's a finesse run style. We want to be a punishing running team out of the spread formation. I mean, shitty block by the guard now. I mean, that's terrible, but it still goes because he just gets a little bit on him, enough on him to make some things happen.
power was one of those confidence plays as well. As far as the run game goes, that if you needed a play, we would go to power. And at one point in the playoff game, we ran it 6 times in a row to the same side, and nothing changed. Exact same play 6 times in a row and scored.
You know, it's pretty bad when you had to go all the way to, it took me, I had to get a damn second team group to find one they blocked perfectly. And it's just, things go, and you guys know how it goes. Things go and you don't even block it half the way it's supposed to go. And sometimes it just happens. Good job by the guard pulling there. Doesn't get a great, huge block, but he gets enough on him to get some movement and to be able to spring it.
Is there any difference in your back's footwork at the tackle's pulling?
Nope. Nope. The only difference is, I think there was a tackle pull there, wasn't it? No, raspberry lip. The only difference is, and I can draw it up here. When we get a U call, so if we're running 24 and I got a U call right here, what's going to change if this guy's in a 3 technique and I can't pull to get around? What's going to change for our whole blocking scheme? Now we're going to stay on and seal that and try to seal it outside. A U call is going to change our front side, so now we're going to get a double team out of our center and guard, working the backside backer, and we're going to stay on front side. So instead of the pull going around the center, now since our aiming point is still at the center's ass cheek, our aiming point's just a little different. He's just going to wrap up and seal there, so it's really just going to cut straight up. Now, if we were pulling regular, if he was in a 2-eye, I used to hate it when people used to do that shit when I was younger and go to things. They just draw 15 lines over shit. If we were running a regular power here, now we're going to get a block back, or we'll man on. We're going to pull that guy, and we're going to cut off. And his aiming point's still the same. Now it's just going to stay kind of the outside of one plate on the front side. Any questions? Look, we don't know a lot of shit now over there. We know how to kind of love our guys up a little bit, and that's about it. Kind of figured out that guys really don't want to play hard for you if they don't respect you and know that you care about them. So that's our biggest secret for the wins that we've had. It ain't nothing that we know. It's just kind of what we do for them every single day. And you guys come to learn stuff, says a lot about what you're going to do in the near future. So well, best of luck to everybody. If you need anything, give me a call, and I'll give you everything that we got. I don't give a shit if we play here or not.
Be there tomorrow then.